Welcome to the Green Chair interviews. Today we have Bente Hansen from the music department. Welcome, Bente. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
We would like to know, what is your philosophy of teaching?
Well, in my opinion, my philosophy of teaching is that you have to create a learning environment that is incredibly relaxed so that the student themselves will be relaxed enough to ask questions. Because I found that a lot of time when I was going through school, the biggest problem was that I felt somewhat intimidated by my professors a lot of the time. And so even though, I'm still going to intimidate people, though I don't know why. I think I'm, pretty laid back. But I try to create a very open environment that students will feel safe and comfortable in, so that the process of asking a question is not going to be some momentous, horrible occasion. I also believe that when it comes to teaching, and this has got a lot to do with the fact that I teach theory, music theory, that I absolutely cannot assume anything in terms of my students, because for me, a lot of things are just natural, like that's just the way it's always been. But I can't assume that knowledge on their part. And I have students going down the most interesting paths whenever I do that. So I like to, like I say, keep an open relationship with my students, and I like to just make sure that I am not thinking that something should be common knowledge, because a lot of time it's not. So, yeah.
Okay. So what are some things that have worked in your classes, or some things that maybe have not worked?
Well, I find that what really works is, in terms of my theory class, I like to engage the students and get them up to the blackboards and make them kind of become part of the whole process. With my rock and roll class, this is a little different because it's a huge class, and doesn't seem to be that same kind of symbiotic relationship going on there, just because there's just too many people. But in the theory classes, I like to make sure, like, within a week and a half, I know everybody's name in that class. I call them up to the boards. I make everybody sing through things. I keep them very much engaged in what they're doing within the classroom. Things that haven't worked, well, you can just never assume something's going to be funny. Like, okay. A lot of times I'll try to be joking about something, and you can just kind of look out and see, like, okay, that's not necessarily good. And some things that I find that I age myself quite readily with things that I think are funny, and I get this blank stare from my classroom going, okay, yeah, you weren't even born then. Yeah. So things like that don't particularly work. Sarcasm does not work. I have a horrible sarcastic streak that I really have to try to keep in, and sometimes it comes out, and I can tell. The whole point of it, particularly with my theory classes, because I work with them for a full year, there's a trust issue there, and there's a respect issue there, and I can tell when those sarcasm, when they leap out and they get out there, I can see that I've lost ground a little bit in terms of things like that, right? So I guess trial by error, and when you find things that don't work well, you put them on the shelf. When you find things that do work, you find ways to augment and enhance those things so that they'll be even better.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So with that said, then, how do you prepare for a typical class of yours?
Well, due to the fact that I teach material that I'm just ultimately familiar with and very, very, happy going up in front of a crowd and doing, a lot of times what I will do is just simply read through my notes and make sure that I'm up to date with what I'm going to be presenting that day. I will go online to see if there's any changes to, say, if I'm in the rock and roll course, for example, artists that I'm studying that day, what are they doing nowadays, and how can I relate that into the thing. With theory, really what I try to do is I try to have as much work, in-class work, for the kids as possible, because with that kind of a topic material, you are teaching concepts that then need to be applied. And the best way for that to happen is if you are constantly making them do that in class. So preparation for my theory class is always making sure that I have work to take into them, and work that is already ready, because so much class time, particularly a theory class, is wasted by copying something off the board or something like that. Now that we have smart boards and things like that, that's a lot more quick. But also the fact that I need to be coming into class with sheets that are already prepared so that they just have to do the work on the sheet rather than copy out everything, because I find that to be just an incredible waste of time. So I just like to have enough material so that what I'm covering can be done in class and done in a way that we have enough time to cover all the concepts we need to cover, so that then when they walk out of the classroom to do their own assignment using those concepts, they are at least somewhat comfortable working with them already.
Well, that sounds really wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.